This is the Counting House Bank, one of the most secure places in all of Baldurs Gate, and I'm robbing it without anyone noticing. But how do you actually get in? You first need to go through a huge metal gate, which is surrounded by guards, with alarms where they can call reinforcements at any time. Or you can also take the back entrance, where they have huge metal robots that will easily crush you, countless alarms, and guards around every corner. And if you even make it for the first layer without getting noticed or dying, you will still need to unlock the 9 deposit boxes, with the keys that are spread out among the richest and most powerful people in the entire city. So I'm starting off by going to Verum's Rock, the main throne of Baldurs Gate, so I need to be very sneaky when entering. I will climb up on the roof and enter through the top floor. I'm now in the main room, but I still need to sneak past all the guards to get to the vault behind the painting. I first jump into the large blind spot next to the guard, then sneaking over to the painting, removing it successfully. But somehow, the guard notices the painting has been stolen, but not me standing right next to it.
Must have been the wind.
So I lockpick it and then making a swift exit by teleporting out to the next key in Lady Janeth's mansion, where she is having an exclusive art expedition. But I'm not here for the expensive paintings. I went upstairs to find Janeth alone in her room, so I took the opportunity to kindly ask her for her key. She happily gave it to me, and I continued over to the Blushing Mermaid, where I will be talking to Captain Grizzly, the owner of the bar. But when I was looking at her, I could see something is sus. I continued talking to her until I realized who she was, and she transformed into a hag. She tells me that the real Captain Grizzly is dead. She teleports into her lair, and all the bar guests develops spontaneous dwarfism, and then starts attacking me. So I smack them all. I track the hag down to the basement and spot a magic door, which I go through, entering the hag lair, where I saw Captain Grizzly. She had been possessed by the hag, so I needed to kill them both to get the key. I resurface and start heading towards my next objective, the city wall. I climbed up on the wall and started walking north.
Stop right there, criminal scum!
When I met some guards who were under the control of the Vampire King, the person holding the 4th key. They told us there was a ritual on the way, so we were not allowed to pass. But we were able to convince them they needed us for the ritual. We entered the first room of the vampire's mansion and saw all his thralls cleaning his house in preparation of the ritual. If I only had one of these thralls in real life. I continued forward till I saw a locked door, which were only able to be opened by a specific key code combination. So I started to search the mansion. I began by going down to the basement, where I spotted a hidden door in the wall that led to a torture chamber with a talking skeleton. We were able to convince the skeleton that we were needed for the ritual. So I got the key, but I still need the code to unlock the door. I left and saw a room with dark energy coming out of it, so I went up to investigate. I saw the dark energy coming from a corpse, so I jumped over the zone to search the room. I found a book with the secret code. I went back to unlock the door. When I opened it, I saw a group of werewolves that teamed up with the vampires, just like Twilight. So I killed them all for making me sit through all that 10 years ago. We continue to walk deeper into the castle until I see a future space elevator going down to the deepest layer, where the vampire is holding his ritual. He had captured thousands to be sacrificed and planned every minute detail for centuries. Incredibly strong and powerful, with over 200 HP and a small army on his side. What could I possibly do to defeat him? So I blew him up and killed the rest of his goons. This is really some Blizzard level writing. I stole his key and sacrificed him and 4,000 other innocents to empower my companion Astarion, and then left the basement to head towards my next objective, the Water Temple. I meet the fish people there. They were mourning the death of one of their members. She had died at the hands of a great beast. I offered my condolences and I told her I can help them kill the monster. So she told me where the lair was. I will need that information for later. But before I kill the great beast, I need to steal their key. So I went upstairs, but one of them was standing guard at the entrance of her room, so I banished her to the Shadow Realm and snuck past. I entered the boss's office, where I saw a second guard, but she was holding the wall. Then I just walked up and took the key. I left by teleporting to the outside of the monster lair. I quickly broke through the steel door and started to make my way down to the basement, where this monster was supposed to be located. But when I found the bottom, the creature was actually a submarine piloted by a dwarf. The fish people wanted me to kill him and make sure the sub never goes again, but I still needed the sub to get to the 6th key, so I told the dwarf, take me to the Iron Throne, an underwater fortress where they're holding prisoners and, more importantly, the key. When I arrived to the underwater base, my team decided to split up. I was going to get the key and the rest of my companions were saving the prisoners, but we were under a time constraint of 5 turns before the underwater compound imploded like the Titan submarine, so we needed to be fast. I started off by rushing to the key while the rest of the guys were saving prisoners. I got the key and immediately turned around to get out of this place. I was able to make it back to the sub in the nick of time, but some of my companions were were unfortunately crushed. We went back to shore and left the sub, but there was the fish people waiting for me to come back. They were mad that I didn't kill the monster, so I blamed everything on the dwarf, so they took him away to be killed. After almost dying in the Iron Throne, I decided to stay on land, so I went to the guild hall, the headquarters of an underground crime organization. I went through the base till I reached the main room, where I saw the leader of the guild, Ninefinger Keen. She recognized me because of my earlier actions, like what I did in the Iron Throne and other places. She knew all this because she had been spying on me through the guild. I asked her about the bank, and she told me there was a cult named the Stone Lord who was doing something in the bank, and the guild had people on the inside that could help me. We ended our conversation and I pickpocketed her and ran as fast as possible. She noticed the key was missing and started running after me. She caught up and I told her it was totally not me who stole the key. She was convinced and continued her search. I left and went over to the House of Grief. We entered and met the doorman. She told me I needed 1,000 gold to go through, so I paid the entrance fee and continued into the back rooms. Whoops, wrong back rooms. There was the woman I paid to talk to. She told me for me to continue, she needed to map my heart by answering different questions. I accepted and she started asking,
what is your unspoken desire?
to bath in wealth and power.
Your heart form begins to take shape. How would you fight one who wronged you?
I would kill them.
As you wish.
After I was done, she told me I needed to go down to the basement, where they had their main temple. I know Baldurs Gate is a big city, but where are they fitting all these large underground bases? There are like 10 of them. She told me we needed to talk there, so I followed her down. When I arrived, she was surrounded by a console and she was holding a speech. It was so bad, I switched to my second character and started to beat her with a stick. As I was hitting her, she did absolutely nothing, she didn't even react, and I continued to smash her head in until she died. The speech was so bad, the crowd acted like nothing happened, so I took her key and left to disable the Steel Watcher factory. But when I got there, the gate into her factory was locked, so I need to find a better way to get in. I started gathering boxes and made a tower out of them, then climbed up so I could jump over the fence. I entered the factory and saw the workers revolting against the guards. I was going to destroy the factory either way, so I helped the workers. They were all dead, so I talked to the leader of the revolt. He thanked me for saving them from their slavery, and I told him I was going to destroy the factory. He was also plotting the downfall of industrial society, so we teamed up. We went deeper, killed more guards and freed more prisoners. As we came closer to the core, the place they're controlling all the Steel Watchers from, but in there they had one final defense, the largest and most powerful Steel Watcher of them all. But I need to kill it to get past. So the fight began. As I was fighting it, my teammates started falling one by one until it was only me left. But luckily I was able to defeat it in the last second. Then I went up to the core and blew the whole factory up. Now I'm ready to actually break into the bank. First I went upstairs to find a password to the vault, but there were 2 guards stopping me from entering. So I used an invisibility spell to sneak past them to enter the bank director's office. So I quickly searched through his stuff, found the code, and quickly ran out to the lobby, where I went up to the receptionist. Thanks to my connections to the guild, I already knew about the Stone Lord, and I confronted him about it. To keep me quiet, he gave me the vault pass and let me in. Then I went past the Iron Gate and entered the vault. I put in the code I stole from the office, and I was finally in. I entered and saw the Stone Lord had already robbed the main vault, so I killed them all as revenge, and on their body was the 9th key. So I looted all the deposit boxes, and the final value is 17,000. That's really bad.
Sticking at your gap for the Rizzler. You're so skibbity.